Hi everyone, this is Wendy Pineda with City Shoppers TV, and we're here with Laura King Gilson, life insurance expert and financial planner in the state of Utah. Laura, how are you?
I'm awesome. How are you, Wendy?
That's great, thank you, and thank you. I really appreciate you being here to give the audience some more information about life insurance in the state of Utah. So I have a question for you. How can somebody estimate the correct amount of life insurance that is right for them?
That's a really, really awesome question. You know, it's really interesting as I sit with people. Some people don't even realize the options that they have when it comes to looking at life insurance and how much they need and how absolutely individual that can be based on their needs and desires and wants for that. So let me just go through a little bit about some of the things that you should consider when you're doing that. Pretty much everyone will recognize that one of the basic things is that you need that amount to replace an income. So that's obviously one thing that you would look at. Generally, a rule of thumb in the industry is, as a replacement for income is about 10 times your income. So that's one of the things you look at, but you'd also want to look at your debts. Make sure that you're not leaving somebody with an enormous amount of debt. Mortgage is another thing that you would add into that, as well as education. A lot of people will want to make sure that they have an education fund built into that insurance need. And then there's a couple other things that people don't really maybe look at or talk about. And of course, you always have your burial expense. And that's an interesting conversation. I sat down with somebody who sells burial insurance, and it's not cheap to bury anyone anymore. You better plan on $15,000 to $30,000 at the bare minimum just to do that. And then some of the things that you can actually put in there, a lot of people don't think about, is an emergency fund. Now, a lot of people say, why would I need an emergency fund built into an insurance policy? But, I can just share a personal experience. I had an aunt, and her husband passed away, and he had all of his investments tied up in a qualified account, meaning that she couldn't access the money because she's like 18 years younger than him. So none of his retirement income could come to her. And so all of a sudden, they hadn't really known that or been aware of that. And all of a sudden, she's trying to deal with the death. And she needed about 3 or 4 months to even just figure out what she was going to do, get a job, and all of a sudden she was at this place where not was she just dealing with the death. She had to look at there was just no space for her to be able to grieve and take care of the things that she's needed. And so an emergency fund would have given her that space to do that. Another reason people will put in kind of an emergency fund within a life insurance policy will be if they want to have extra money. If their family lives all across the United States, they want to have those funds available to fly them in on a plane, or just all the added extra little expenses that can show up. And so a lot of times an emergency fund built into that as well can create a lot of flexibility and empower the families to be able to take the time off to work to figure things out, pay for extra people to be in there, hotel rooms, just some of those other things. And so, when you start to look at how much life insurance that you need to work for you, really there's a lot of options there. There's a lot of things that are available. And so, the whole point is what do you need? What do you really need to be able to make that transition as peaceful as you possibly can. And so, once again, that's one of those things you need to talk to somebody who understands, because you can't, like when you talk about an education fund, then if your kids are 3, you need to make sure that you have somebody who can help you figure out how much an education is going to cost in 16 years. Mm-hmm. Because it can't be based on the education, at their age at 3. And so you have to factor in some of those things like inflation and and some of the things that will happen with that. So, but one of just kind of an acronym that helps people kind of remember that is just DIME: debt, income, mortgage, and earnings. And so if you just remember DIME, that kind of gives you the basic, the very basics of things that you would want to consider. So I hope that was helpful.
Wow,
and answers the question.
Yeah, that was a lot of insight. I mean, talk about how many things are interrelated that probably people are not even thinking about, when the spouse dies, education. I mean, so many things that you can cover. Now, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but you're talking about a more comprehensive life insurance package and not something like term life, correct?
Actually, all of that can be built in any insurance project and in any insurance policy, actually.
Okay.
Because all of those things will factor into the face value or the policy value. And so you kind of take all of those parts and factor it into what the policy value will be. You're just going to get the lump sum, and then you just distribute it however you feel like it. That just gives you, it's a very comprehensive way of looking at it, but it all goes into basically any policy.
Well, that's great information to have, Laura. Well, there you have it, people. If you need in the state of Utah an expert and you really want to protect your family and think about their financial future, just in case you're the household provider and you're not here for any circumstances in the future, God forbid, please contact Laura. Laura, what's the best way people can reach you?
My phone number is 801-251-6163, and I will answer that and we'll get back to you on that phone line. You can also find me at oremutahlifeinsurance.com, and I'd be happy to respond to anything that you put there. So, yes, please contact me. I'm more than willing to sit and give you a free consultation and have a conversation about what you need, what you have, and answer any questions about that and help you kind of really know and feel really knowledgeable and certain about what you need for yourself.
Well, people from the state of Utah, there you have it. Laura King Gilson, life insurance expert and financial planner, is offering you a free consultation. Take advantage of this. Think about your family's future. And Laura, we'll be talking soon with more questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, Wendy, bye-bye.
Till next time.